Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, dear students. This is Miss Layla Al-Jahani. Inshallah, today we will start a new, we finished Unit 6. Inshallah, today we will start expansion units from 4 to 6. 4, you covered it in your first semester, but we have to recall the information in this semester from 4 to 6. Before we start, please make sure you are sitting in a quiet place, your notebooks ready, your pencils ready to start the expansion units. Before we start, we covered in Unit 6 many aspects. صح? For the vocabulary, we talked about, we had many vocabulary related to features of community of urban life. We talked about transportation words. For the function, we talked about quality of life, describe features of places, make comparisons. We compare between things. We asked for information. Also for the grammar, we covered the comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. We compare using as and as. We learned how to form indirect questions and the definite article the. We covered it in our previous lesson. Okay? For the listening, we listened for specific details in a new story about garbage and recycling. For the pronunciation, intonation of direct and indirect questions. For the reading, we read about the pride of the Red Sea, Jeddah. For the writing, we wrote about the assets and features, future aims of your city or neighborhood. For the project, you had to write about town or a city in your country or in the world. This is what we covered in our Unit 6. Okay? Inshallah, today, by the end of the lesson, you will be able to use the previous knowledge to form sentences with the expressions of quantity. Do you remember the expressions of quantity? We will recall it today. Also, we will answer questions using comparative and superlative forms correctly. This is what we covered in our previous unit, Unit 6. You will learn also to form statements using present perfect and past simple. Do you remember these? I think these are related to Unit 4. Also, you will be able to talk about your experience using the present perfect, give your opinion of a given topic. We will give you a topic and you have to give your opinion about it. This is what we, inshallah, try to cover in today. So if you look at these two words, some and many, these are words. Can you think about other synonyms, other words with the same meaning? Like, for example, some bananas, some apples, many things, many chairs. Other than some and many, can you think about other synonyms? Yes, excellent. We have any, few, a little, much, and a lot. These are synonyms. Do you remember what do we call these words? I mentioned it in our objectives. Excellent. Expressions of quantity. This is what we call it. We covered the expressions of quantity. We have a few, a little, a lot of, and much, many, enough. Okay? When do we use these words? Okay? So we use it with some, we use it with the countable nouns. Some we use it with the uncountable nouns. With the countable nouns, I eat a few carrots. This is the countable nouns. Okay? And with the uncountable nouns, we use a little, much. We use it with the uncountable. But we have a lot here, a lot of words. Which ones we use it with the countable? Which one we use it with the uncountable? Here, we have a lot of and enough. Both, we use it with the countable and uncountable. So these words, we use it with both countable and uncountable nouns. This is the example here. Here I put it in a table to make it easier. With countable nouns, what do you use? How many. With the uncountable nouns, you use how much. Okay? Countable, you use a few, enough, a lot of. Okay? With the uncountable, you have a little. Here a few, here a little. Enough and a lot, we can see it here in both countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, let's see this exercise. This is the first exercise. You can find it on page 68. Okay, look at the exercise. You have to use the expressions of quantity. Okay, sometimes more than one answer is correct. خلاص, there is not, we don't have only one answer, this is the correct one, the other ones لا. Sometimes we can, as long as it is correct with the countable, related to the countable and uncountable, like this table here, then it's correct. خلاص? Pause the video, think about it, write down your answers, compare it with your friends, and then let's see the answers together. Okay? So for number one, we only have a little olive oil. Olive oil, is it countable or uncountable? Uncountable, that's why we use a little. Also here, oil, we used some. Oil is uncountable. I highlighted the nouns in green so you can think about it, countable or uncountable. Tony doesn't eat any seafood because with the negative we used any, because we have a negative here, okay? Also here we have a negative, we used any. I'm trying to lose weight, please give me only a few French fries. Okay, 4, many children don't eat, negative, any fruits. Number 5, we have milk, uncountable, how much milk. Eggs, countable, how many eggs. Okay, this is how we form questions. Here we are forming questions. Number 7, I never put any onions. Never, it's also has the same meaning of negative. That's why we used any with it. Have some hot tea. These are the answers for exercise A. Okay, now let's move on to the other form. Look at these statements here. We have trains are faster than buses. Train tickets are more expensive, and we have planes are the fastest. Plane tickets are the most expensive. Do you remember what do we call these and these? Yes, comparative and superlative forms of adjectives, صح? We use it to compare between things. When do we use the comparative? We use it to compare between two objects. We have two things, we are comparing between them. With the superlative, we use it to compare between 3 or more adjectives. Okay, this is how we use the comparative and superlative. Comparative, we use it to compare between 2. Superlative, we use it to compare between 3 and more. Okay. طيب, here there is an example. You have to put it in a statement. Use these adjectives to form sentences. We have heavy and light. How do we form it? Using the superlative, we can say watermelons. The watermelon is the heaviest. Do you remember last class we said the, we use it with the superlatives? The pineapple is the lightest fruit. Okay, so this is how we use these two adjectives in superlative form. Okay, so for exercise B, choose the sentence that means the same thing. يعني إيش? We read the statement, okay? The cost of living in Rome is just about the same as in Paris. Which one of these has the same meaning as this sentence? Which one? We have more than one. Look at it all. Try to read it all. Discuss it with your friends, which one you think is the correct answer, and then let's do it together, okay? So for number 1, the cost of living in Rome is just about the same as in Paris. What does it mean? Rome is cheaper? Does it mean that? لا. There isn't much difference. They are both expensive. What does it mean? There isn't much difference. That means they are the same. صح? The cost of living in Rome and Paris, it's the same. There is no difference. Number 2, my new air conditioner isn't, here we have a negative, as noisy as the old one. Does it mean the new one is just as noisy? لا. Does it mean the new one is much noisier? Does it mean the new one is less noisier? Excellent, it's C. The new one is less noisier, okay? For number 3, this is the most crowded restaurant I've ever been in, but it's always like this. What does it mean? It's more crowded today than usually. It's as crowded as usual. It's sometimes more crowded than this. What does it mean? Excellent. B, it's as crowded as usual. For number 4, what do you think the answer is? The taxis are as slow as the buses during rush hour. Which one of these? What does it mean? Excellent. B, buses are as slow as taxis. Number 5, our TV screen is as large as yours, but yours has a higher definition. What does it mean? What does it mean? Which one is it? Excellent. It's B. One has better definition. They mentioned it here at the end. Okay? Now let's look at these 2 statements. We have 2 sentences here. We finished the exercise. Now we are moving to the next one, but I want to explain first what are we talking about. Fahad and Ali have lived there a long time. Okay? And the other sentence, Fahad and Ali lived there a long time. Is it the same sentence? What is the difference? Are they the same? Do they have the same meaning? لا, they don't. طيب, what is the difference? How are they different in meaning? So the first one, what do you think? We said the first one, which tense is it? Have lived, which tense? Present perfect, excellent. And lived, Ali lived. This is past, simple past. So what is the difference? When do we use have lived? When do we use lived? Excellent. The past tense, we use it when the action started in the past and finished. Okay? But here, the present perfect, we use it when the past actions, the actions start in the past, but still, maybe you still live here. Okay? When you talk about your experience, the effect of the action still here. Okay? This is when we use the present perfect. A, this one, means they still live there. Okay? So the action didn't finish. B, this statement means they don't live there anymore. So the action start and finished in the past. This is the difference between the 2. Okay? How are the forms are different? How do we form the present perfect and the past? We form it like this. The present perfect form, we have has and have, and the past participle, verb 3. The past form, we have the verb plus ed, or we have the irregular form, like eat, ate. Okay, this is the irregular form. This is the difference between the 2 statements. Usually with the past, we use expressions in the past, like yesterday, last week. We use these forms to tell you that this action happened in the past and finished. But also we have some expressions with the present perfect, like for and since. We usually use for and since with the present perfect. So keep in mind, when you do this exercise, look at these clues. Okay, look at these clues to help you. Complete the sentences with the present perfect and the simple past form of the verb. Okay? Sahar and Asma, we have to use the verb to be friends for 10 years. And they call each other often. Okay? For 10 years. So what did we say? For and since. We use it with which tense? Present perfect or simple past? Excellent. We use the present perfect. So try to look at the clues, try to look at the statements and compare your answers with your friend, and let's do it together. So for the first one, we have been, Sahar and Asma, because they are plural, we use have. And then the verb 3 of the be, we have been friends for 10 years. We said for number 1, we use the present perfect. طيب, what about number 2? We have Qasim worked. We used the simple past. Okay. Number 3, we use has won. We have the team singular. That's why we use has won all their games so far this season. Okay, the season didn't finish, so it's continued. That's why we use the present perfect here. Number 4, I haven't, we had to use a negative. I haven't seen a good film on TV for a long time. With for, we use the present perfect. Ashraf has lived in a dorm since he went to college. So we have with for and since. These are clues. You have to look at it in the statements. We have Hamid and Adil met when they were at school. Okay? This is for exercise C. We looked at the answer. We learned how to use the present perfect and the past simple. Okay? Now for exercise D, look at the pictures. You have many pictures in your book. Pictures of adventures. صح? Look at the pictures on your book, and we have the names of the adventures here. Okay? Look at the pictures of adventures on this page and say which you have done or haven't done. So you have to talk about your experience. خلاص, we have to practice talking about our experience. Okay? For example, I've been go-kart racing, or I've never been go-kart racing. Okay? So we talked about the first one. Can you talk about the other the other adventures? Tell your friends, did you do it before? Have you ever done this adventure before? Or you haven't? Okay? Like for example, I have been exploring a cave. Or I have never been exploring a cave. Something you did or you didn't do in the past. This is a speaking exercise, so you have to talk and give statements. You can write it down and then tell it to your friends and classmates. For example, another one, I have been whitewater rafting, or I've never been whitewater rafting. You can say, I have been skydiving, or I have never been skydiving. I have been riding a camel, or I have never been riding a camel. Okay? You can practice using the present perfect and talk about your experiences. Whenever you want to talk about your experience, you use the present perfect. Okay? Now, for exercise E, complete the chart with your opinion. So you have to give your opinion. What do you think? Okay? Of the adventures. Do you remember the adventures from the first exercise? خلاص, you have to talk about these adventures. Then compare ideas with a partner. Write your partner's ideas in the third column. طيب, we have the adventures here, and here we have the opinions. خلاص? Your opinion. For example, here you will write your opinion, and here you have to write your friend's opinion. So you will not work alone, you will work with your friend. خلاص? You will first write down your opinion, and then you will ask your friend what do they think about the adventures. Which adventure, ya Ahmed, or which adventure, ya Muna, is the most exciting? So she has to tell you one of these, or he has to tell you one of these. For example, my opinion, the most exciting adventure, I would say skydiving. Then I will write skydiving here. Okay? Then I will ask my friend, what do you think, which adventure do you think the most exciting? She will say, for example, or he will say, exploring a cave. خلاص? So this is a speaking exercise. You have to ask each other the questions and fill out this table. Okay? Now work in a group. Defend your opinion. خلاص, you wrote down your opinion here. صح? You wrote it down. Now you have to defend your opinion. You have to convince the other that لا, you are right. Okay? Defend your opinion of the adventure. For example, you can say white water rafting is less dangerous than skydiving, and it's just as exciting. You can give them their opinion like this. Talk about the adventures, which one you want to do, which ones you think it's very dangerous, which one you think it's expensive, which one you think it's more exciting, okay? And discuss together, try to defend your opinion. For your homework, I want you to do workbook page 129 and page 130. If we want to recall what we covered in our lesson today we revised the expressions of quantity, like much, a lot, many, these words. And also we compared, we recalled the difference between past and present perfect. Also, we answer questions using comparative and superlative forms. We talked about our experiences using the present perfect related to the adventures. We talked about adventures. And also we discussed and gave our opinion and defend our opinion about which adventure we think is more expensive, more dangerous, and so on. That's it for today. Thank you for listening, and inshallah I will see you next class.